Hey y'all, vlogging in my bathrobe again. And this evening, we're going to work on a project inspired by a couple of my friends. They've been posting pictures on Facebook where Laura Schroeder and Lisa Denny, and I'll add their pictures at the end of this tutorial. They've been making weeping angel tree toppers. And I think they got the idea from a girl on YouTube, Katie Campshure. I'm not sure. I just kind of Googled the idea to see if there was already a video out there, and I found her video. But I'm going to do a few things differently. Look at hers, look at mine. Take what you like, leave the rest. Tweak it. There's no right way to do a weeping angel. All angels are different. And just a little bit of background. Weeping Angel is a very popular, one of my favorite aliens on BBC television's Doctor Who. So first we're going to go through the supplies that I've got here. You need a really, really good glue. I've used several glues trying to make this work. And right now we're going to try Super Loctite. I've also got a little bit of spray adhesive. The room's well ventilated. I have a fan on and I've got one of the windows open. We're going to need a lighter because of course we're going to bend Barbie's arms to cover her eyes, the doll's arms. And let me point out, this is a cheapo, no-name, hollow, well actually her arms are solid, her legs are hollow. You can get one who's, as I understand it, if the arms are hollow, this is a lot easier to get her elbows to bend and her hands to turn in. But we're going to use the fire for that, the flame lighter. To make her dress and headband, I'm kind of artsy crafty. I've got a lot of stuff laying around my house, a lot of stuff we're trying to pack up, and I don't know a lot of my craft supplies. Hence, not being able to find any fat glue sticks. So I'll show you the way that I'm doing it, then I'll show you an easier way with the hot glue gun, so you can choose from that. But the tool, that's what we're going to use for her dress. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and just cut her hair, get it out of the way. The angel's going to have a short hairstyle. And when we're using the flame, notice my hair is up. Her hair is gone now. We do not want to catch ourselves on fire. So now that her hair is out of the way, we'll come back to work on that hairstyle a little bit later. We're going to melt her elbows. Now again, it's well ventilated in here. Oops, I'm going to kind of hold it there a little bit. Very carefully here. We're not wanting to light her elbow on fire, but we are wanting to soften it up a bit. Now, I'm going to hold that. Now we're going to be gluing her hands to her face. So if it pops back out a little bit, we're not going to worry too much about it. Now we'll repeat the process on the other side. I don't have a fire extinguisher close by, but I do have a bucket of water over here. Small bucket. If she happens to get too hot and flame up, I can douse her right over here. So I would suggest you have a fire extinguisher if you actually have one. I don't actually own one. I know, bad. Oh, I take that back. I do have one out in the camper. Should have grabbed it. One thing I do want you to realize is this project is going to take you more than 24 hours. And that's after you've assembled everything that you need. Now her arms are pretty much where we want to have them. We're going to end up gluing the hands onto the eyes a little bit more. But what we want to do now is take the tool. Let's do the cone first. We're going to take this sheet of poster board and we're going to give her a cone-shaped skirt. This stuff is good and gooey. Okay. Woo. That's sticking very, very quickly. I will still put just a tiny bit of this Loctite here at the corner. Okay. We can trim her up. It doesn't matter if the bottom is exactly perfect. I'm going to wrap a rubber band around it just to keep this smooth. Because again, she's not going to be sitting on a flat surface. She's going to be on the top of your Christmas tree. But, you know, just for the purposes of this video and having her sit up a little bit better for you guys, I'll try to even her out some. Hard to believe I was once a hairstylist, isn't it, guys? I can't seem to cut a straight line, but okay. There we go. So, here we are. We're going to take the tool, drape it over her beautiful weeping angel, cut it down a little bit longer than what we've got going for the cone. Take it back off, find the middle. We're going to cut a little hole for her head. And then for her belt, I'm just going to cut a strip with this tool. Turn her around from there. Her dress is starting to look good. Don't worry if you can see the poster board a little bit through the dress. That's going to be fine. You're going to be spray painting it soon. Now what we're going to do is, excuse me, cut one more small piece to wrap around her head for her headband. We don't want to forget that. I don't know if you can hear the sawing outside. We've got Alan out there. He's cutting the bottom off the Christmas tree for the treetop for here. Do it with a live tree. Woo. Cut her too far down. Now pull her too far back. This isn't the hardest part, guys. Okay. Weeping Angel is one of my favorite aliens from Doctor Who. I mean, I always have a soft spot in my heart for the Daleks, but I'm going to bunch her top up a little bit more. I kind of feel like it's a little thick. I'm going to cut one more string and kind of tie something going back here in the back. And then we're going to work on the wings. I'm going to trim that extra off where I've tightened up the top of the dress. Okay. Now we're going to show you her wings. Let's lay the doll down here for a moment. So these are my wings. I'm going to add a little bit of detailing to them. Again, don't get wrapped up in perfectionism like I try to do. You're going to be covering this with the spray paint, then you're going to be covering this with the stone paint, and then on top of all of that, it's going to be on the very top of your Christmas tree. So do not give yourself a really hard time about it if every curve is not perfect, if everything doesn't match just the way you want it. Really, it's gonna turn out great. Yours will too. Give that just a second or two to dry. Gonna get our angel back up here. Move the very, very sticky poster board that I was using underneath where I was gluing. And I'm going to take the Loctite. We're going to scoot her dress open just a little bit. Put some glue on the tool. Put some glue on her back. And we're going to take the tab, bend the tab in, slide it underneath her dress. Oh yeah, it's some sticky stuff. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more of the spray glue on this side to help it glue to the shoulder. Woo. And we're going to move on to the next wing. Our angel has her wings. Now, we're going to work on her hair a little bit here. Again, if you had hot glue, you would take the hot glue gun and you would go over her hair, sculpey, gushy, make little curls and whatnot. You might have even done that before you did the hot glue, before you did the wings. But we are going to use something called Gorilla Glue. Now I'm going to dunk. Well, I guess I can't get her head down in here. We're going to wet Barbie's head off camera a little bit. I told you I had some water over here. Because Gorilla Glue requires water to activate. Now, Gorilla Glue works like that foam you insulate your house with. You go to squirt it in the cracks, and it expands. So that's what we're going for with our Gorilla Glue. Sorry about that, guys. When you've got kids, right? So, here we go again with the Gorilla Glue. I'm going to make her bangs. Now, every Barbie's not going to have bangs. And you don't have to cut bangs in your Barbie if she doesn't. I think it might actually be a little more useful if she didn't have bangs, but I say useful, easier to handle. Now, the hardest part of this project is coming up. We've got the arms melted, and this Barbie's, this doll, this whatever, was a little bit easier to melt. So I'm hoping getting her eyes covered will be a little easier too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this Loctite, try it first. Glue the doll's eyes. Again, if the Loctite doesn't work, we can come back to it later with some more Gorilla Glue. I'm going to place her hands over her eyes. Let's see, this one could stand being melted a little bit more. So our hands in place really well now. If you have a small clamp with your tools and whatnot, that would be ideal. If you could really just stick her head in a vice grip and hold this here, it would be so much easier for you. But I am the queen of make do and figure it out. When you don't have this supply, how can we substitute that one? So what we're going to do is take the rubber band, wrap it around twice, Get her hands up in there. Her head's trying to turn on me. Like I said, this is the absolute hardest part of the project. Alright. One arm is perfect and the other one just doesn't want to play games with us. Alright. We've got her bound up. We're going to leave her to sit and dry. Now tomorrow morning, her hands should be firmly affixed to her eyes and I can cut the rubber band off. And what I'll do at that point is take this plain gray primer. I'm going to spray her down really good once, give her 30 minutes, 45 minutes to dry, spray her down really good again, get down in the nooks and crannies. Then I'm going to take this Krylon Stone Paint. I'm going to give her 2 or 3 coats with this. And again, since I'm wanting to get this video up tonight and we have had multiple technical difficulties, this is what she should look like. And I'm going to get closer to the camera. Alright. Light around here a little bit better. Might make me look terrible, but maybe it'll make our angel look great, right? So, get those out of our way. Her hands did melt to her face. Her hair turned out really well. I touched her when she was still wet and put a couple of marks on her wings, but we'll get those fixed right before we put her on the tree. I love the way her dress turned out. It is awesome. And again, this is the gray tulle. This particular angel did not get a coat of primer. And if you look really, really close here and there, there's a couple of spots that would have been done well by primer. So, well, let me just thank again Lisa, Denny, and Laura Schroeder for doing their wonderful angels, and Katie Campshure, which I think is where they got the original idea from. She's got a YouTube video as well. And like I said, you heard the saw, the tree's going up, the angel will go on the tree tonight. And guys, remember, don't blink.